For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On a crisp autumn evening in 2008, 19-year-old Asha Nakamura left her architecture studio in New York, NY, heading for a sketching session in Central Park's picturesque Ramble. She never returned home. Despite an extensive investigation by the NYPD, Asha vanished without a trace from the heart of one of the world's busiest cities. Her Metro card showed no exits from the transit system, offering no clues to her whereabouts, deepening the mystery. For 9 agonizing years, her family and friends lived with crushing uncertainty, constantly searching for answers. Then, in 2017, a discovery was made: a waterlogged sketchbook, hidden beneath a park bench, containing faint graphite transfers of a unique, short-lived graffiti tag. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Asha Nakamura. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. In the vibrant metropolis of New York City, 2008 hummed with the relentless rhythm of ambition and opportunity. Amidst this sprawling urban tapestry lay Central Park, a vast expanse of curated wilderness offering respite and inspiration. It was here, on an autumn evening, that a promising life would inexplicably vanish. Asha Nakamura, a 19-year-old architecture freshman, embodied the spirit of the city's creative pulse. With a sketchbook as her constant companion, she possessed an innate curiosity for the structural beauty of her surroundings, often seeking out the intricate details of urban design and natural forms. On the evening of October 14, 2008, Asha concluded a particularly demanding studio crit, the kind of intensive review session common to her rigorous architecture program. Exhausted but creatively charged, she decided to seek solace and inspiration in Central Park. Her intention was clear: to sketch the graceful arches and bridges of the park as dusk began to settle, painting the landscape in soft, receding light. Her destination was the Ramble, a densely wooded area near the iconic Bow Bridge, known for its winding paths and picturesque vistas. As the last vestiges of daylight faded, the park transitioned from a bustling public space to a quieter, more introspective realm, its shadows deepening with the arrival of evening. The initial alarm regarding Asha's absence was met with a perplexing detail that would immediately complicate any investigation. Her Metro card, used to access the subway system en route to the park area, registered no subsequent exit scan. This crucial piece of information suggested Asha had entered the subway network leading to Central Park, but had never officially used her card to depart from it. For investigators, this anomaly immediately flagged her disappearance as highly unusual, devoid of any clear explanation or established pattern of departure. The subsequent hours brought a growing, chilling realization: Asha Nakamura was truly missing, setting the stage for an urgent yet profoundly perplexing search. The urgency of Asha's disappearance immediately triggered a coordinated response from both the Central Park Conservancy's park authorities and the New York City Police Department. Initial efforts focused on the most logical areas: the Ramble, the vicinity of Bow Bridge, and the subway stations Asha might have used. Search teams, equipped with flashlights, began to comb the darkening paths, calling out her name, their voices echoing through the trees. Asha's roommate, Theo Bianchi, was among the first to raise the alarm. He described Asha as a meticulous and responsible individual, deeply committed to her studies. She rarely deviated from her plans and always communicated her whereabouts. When Asha did not return by her usual time, nor answer her phone, Theo's initial concern quickly escalated into alarm. His cooperation with investigators was immediate and comprehensive, providing details of Asha's daily routine, her friends, her family contacts, and her recent projects. He emphasized her passion for architecture, making it highly improbable she would simply abandon her life and studies without a word. Theo's testimony painted a picture of a focused and grounded young woman, deepening the mystery of her absence. Among the first responders was Park Officer Renee Ortiz, a veteran of Central Park's intricate landscape. Officer Ortiz, familiar with the park's unique challenges, led initial ground searches through the Ramble. The area, particularly at night, presented a formidable environment. Dense foliage, winding, unlit paths, and numerous secluded spots. Despite thorough sweeps of the area where Asha was last believed to be, no physical evidence emerged, no dropped sketchbook, no discarded personal items, no witnesses who recalled seeing a young woman matching Asha's description sketching near Bow Bridge at dusk. The vastness of the park quickly absorbed any immediate trace. The MetroCard data remained a central, yet frustrating, point of inquiry. While it confirmed Asha's entry into the subway system, likely at a station serving her university, the absence of an exit scan created a critical void. It meant she had either not used the subway to leave the park area, or had exited at a station without swiping her card, a less common but possible scenario. This information, while precise, offered no actionable direction, only reinforcing the baffling nature of her vanishing act. As the initial hours turned into days, the investigation's momentum began to wane. Despite extensive searches, interviews with park-goers and local residents, and widespread appeals for information, no further leads materialized. The Central Park, a place of public recreation, had seemingly swallowed Asha Nakamura without a trace, leaving investigators with a cold trail and a growing sense of frustration. The case, devoid of concrete evidence, quickly became an enigma, a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The initial frantic searches for Asha Nakamura eventually yielded to the relentless passage of time. Weeks bled into months, and months into years, as the urgent intensity of the early investigation slowly receded. The immediate crisis of a missing person transformed into the agonizing silence of a cold case. The posters featuring Asha's hopeful young face, once ubiquitous across New York City, faded and peeled, eventually removed by weather or sanitation crews, mirroring the fading hope for a swift resolution. For Theo Bianchi, Asha's roommate, the silence was a constant, gnawing presence. The empty space in their shared apartment, Asha's untouched possessions, and the absence of her familiar presence became a daily reminder of the profound uncertainty. There was no body, no note, no definitive explanation, only the torment of the unknown. The lack of closure was a heavy burden, leaving Theo and, by extension, Asha's family, suspended in a perpetual state of grief and lingering, fragile hope. Every phone call, every news report held the potential for an answer, yet none ever came, reinforcing the crushing reality that Asha had simply vanished. Officer Renee Ortiz, who had spent countless hours combing the Ramble in the immediate aftermath, watched the Asha Nakamura file gather dust. Her initial determination to find answers had been met with impenetrable walls of silence. Every lead had been exhausted, every witness interviewed, every piece of data scrutinized, yet the case remained stubbornly unsolved. The vastness of Central Park, initially perceived as a sanctuary, had proven to be its own enigma, a place where a person could disappear without leaving a single trace. Ortiz often reflected on the persistent mystery, the frustrating helplessness of knowing someone had vanished from a public space, yet offered no clue as to how or why. The park's secluded areas, its intricate network of paths, and its sheer scale made it a formidable challenge for any investigation, a silent accomplice to the inexplicable. As the calendar turned, marking 2009, then 2010, and onwards, the case of Asha Nakamura settled into a deep dormancy. For 9 long years, the file remained closed, a testament to the baffling circumstances of her disappearance. The promising architecture student had become a statistic, another unsolved mystery in the annals of New York City's vast, unyielding history, awaiting an improbable discovery to break the decade of silence. 9 years had passed since Asha Nakamura vanished into the vastness of Central Park. Her case, a cold file gathering dust in the archives of the New York City Police Department. The initial urgency had long faded into a persistent, unanswered question, a silent torment for those who knew her. Then, in the spring of 2017, a routine park maintenance sweep yielded an unexpected object that would shatter the long silence and reignite a dormant investigation. Beneath the weathered slats of a secluded bench, tucked away in an infrequently visited corner of the Ramble, a small, waterlogged book lay pressed into the damp earth. Its covers were warped, the paper swollen and discolored by years of exposure to the elements, yet its distinct size and the faint, smudged inscription on its initial page confirmed its identity. It was Asha's sketchbook. The discovery, 9 years after her disappearance, sent a jolt through the precinct. Officer Renee Ortiz, who had carried the weight of the unsolved case for nearly a decade, felt a familiar mix of dread and renewed hope. This was not a final answer, but it was the first tangible connection to Asha since the night she vanished. Forensic technicians meticulously began the delicate process of examining the fragile artifact, page by painstaking page. Most of the intricate architectural sketches Asha had so diligently created were ruined, indistinguishable smudges of ink and graphite, a testament to the passage of time and the park's relentless environment. Yet on one particularly resilient page, a remarkable detail emerged. Deeply impressed into the paper, a faint but discernible graphite transfer of a unique lamppost tag became visible. This was not a drawing executed by Asha, but an imprint, as if the page had been pressed firmly against a surface bearing the tag, perhaps while she was sketching or resting her book. The tag itself was idiosyncratic, a specific piece of street art, a signature etched onto a public fixture. This unique marking, a silent witness preserved by chance and the park's damp earth, instantly became the central focus of the re-energized investigation. After 9 years of absolute silence, the case of Asha Nakamura had finally found its voice. The small, damaged sketchbook, once a repository of her artistic dreams, now held the first concrete clue, offering a new and unexpected direction for an investigation long stalled by an absence of evidence. The mystery of Asha's vanishing act had been given a new lease on life, propelled by a faint image on a waterlogged page. The unique lamppost tag, faint but distinct on the waterlogged page, immediately became the singular focus of the re-energized investigation into Asha Nakamura's disappearance. For nearly a decade, the case had been a frustrating void, but this graphite impression offered a tangible starting point, a potential fingerprint from the past. The immediate task was clear: identify the tag, understand its context, and determine if it held any geographical or temporal information that could narrow down the vastness of Central Park and the 9 years of silence. This was not a conventional clue, requiring a specialized approach that moved beyond traditional forensic analysis. To decipher this intricate piece of street art, investigators turned to Malik Ghorbani, a renowned graffiti archivist and cultural historian. Ghorbani possessed a unique expertise, having spent decades documenting the transient world of urban tagging, understanding its evolving styles, its clandestine rules, and its often fleeting existence. He was called upon to bring his specialized knowledge to bear on the delicate graphite transfers from Asha's sketchbook. His initial examination was meticulous, conducted under high magnification, scrutinizing every line, curve, and stylistic flourish of the faint impression. He noted the particular hand, the specific letter forms, and the characteristic embellishments that marked it as the work of a distinct, if unknown, artist. Ghorbani explained that unlike more permanent forms of art, graffiti tags often have a remarkably short lifespan. They are constantly overwritten by new tags, removed by park maintenance or property owners, or simply fade with time and weather. Artists themselves frequently evolve their styles, making older tags obsolete. This transient nature, while presenting a challenge, also offered a profound advantage. If the tag could be identified and dated, it would provide an incredibly narrow window of time during which a Shaz sketchbook must have been in contact with that specific lamppost. This realization was a crucial shift in perspective, transforming a seemingly random mark into a potential chronological anchor. While Gorbani delved into the stylistic nuances and temporal possibilities of the tag, the investigative team, led by Officer Rene Ortiz, launched a parallel effort. They began to cross-reference the tag's characteristics with known graffiti databases and photographic archives of Central Park. The goal was to pinpoint the exact lamppost where this unique marking might have existed. This dual approach, dating the tag and locating its origin, represented the most promising avenue for finally understanding the circumstances that led to Ashan Nakamura's inexplicable vanishing act. The faint impression on the sketchbook, a silent whisper from the past, was finally beginning to speak. Malik Gorbani's expertise proved to be the pivotal factor in shattering the decade-long silence surrounding Ashan Nakamura's disappearance. His deep understanding of the transient nature of street art allowed him to categorize the lamppost tag not merely by its distinct style, but by its fleeting lifespan. Gorbani identified the unique hand and specific stylistic flourishes as belonging to a particular subgenre of graffiti active for only a few months in the late autumn of 2008. He determined that this short-lived style, often quickly painted over or abandoned by its creator, provided an incredibly narrow window of time during which the tag could have existed. Crucially, this temporal frame directly encompassed the period of Ashan Nakamura's vanishing in October 2008. The faint graphite transfer, once a baffling mark, now offered a precise chronological anchor. Armed with Gorbani's precise temporal analysis, Officer Rene Ortiz and her investigative team initiated an exhaustive review of Central Park's operational archives for that exact time frame. They meticulously scoured maintenance logs, work orders, and closure notifications, searching for any anomaly or unusual activity that might align with the tag's brief existence. The task was painstaking, involving thousands of pages of municipal records, but the renewed hope fueled their dedication. The breakthrough arrived with a powerful, almost overwhelming clarity. As the team cross-referenced the tag's dating with Park Service records, a specific entry emerged. During October 2008, a section of the Ramble, not far from where Asha was last believed to be heading, had undergone extensive lighting repairs. For safety and operational reasons, this particular stretch of pathway, known for its dense canopy and winding nature, had been temporarily shuttered to public access. This closure was explicitly noted in the park's daily operational reports, coinciding perfectly with Gorbani's identified window for the lamppost tag. More significantly, the records detailed that a rarely used service tunnel, running directly beneath a portion of this closed path, had been activated for equipment access and cable routing during these repairs. This tunnel, typically sealed off and forgotten by the public, had been open and in active use precisely during the window of Asha's vanishing. The convergence of these facts was profound and undeniable. The unique lamppost tag, found pressed into Asha's sketchbook, could now be definitively linked to a specific, closed-off area of the park during the exact time of her disappearance. This shuttered path, leading to an active service tunnel, offered a concrete, plausible explanation for how a young woman could vanish without a trace from a seemingly public space. Asha, in her quest to sketch unnoticed arches, may have inadvertently stumbled upon this temporarily accessible, yet unmonitored subterranean route, forever altering the course of the investigation. The mystery of her disappearance had, after 9 years, finally found a direction, leading into the forgotten depths beneath the park. The revelation of the service tunnel, active and accessible during the precise window of Ashan Nakamura's disappearance, finally offered a profound, albeit tragic, understanding of her vanishing act. This was not the resolution of a perpetrator brought to justice, nor the recovery of a body, but the crucial answer to the question that had plagued investigators for 9 years. How could a young woman simply disappear from a bustling public park? The evidence now painted a plausible scenario. Asha, in her artistic pursuit of capturing Central Park's architectural elegance at dusk, had likely encountered the temporarily shuttered path. Drawn by curiosity, or perhaps seeking a secluded vantage point, she may have ventured into the unmonitored service tunnel, an area never intended for public access, yet open during those critical days for lighting repairs. What transpired within its subterranean depths could only be speculated upon: a misstep in the dark, an accidental fall, getting disoriented in the labyrinthine passages, or an encounter with someone or something unforeseen. Regardless of the specific event, the tunnel provided the concrete mechanism for her complete disappearance from the visible world above. For Officer Renee Ortiz, the resolution was bittersweet. The file, once a frustrating testament to an unsolvable riddle, now held a coherent narrative. The relentless pursuit of truth, fueled by a decade of unanswered questions, had culminated in this understanding. There was a sense of vindication for the perseverance of her team, a testament to the power of overlooked details finally speaking. Yet, the emotional weight of Asha's ultimate fate remained, a somber reminder of the human cost of the mystery. Theo Bianchi, Asha's roommate, received the news with a complex mix of relief and renewed grief. The vague, tormenting hope that Asha had simply run away, that she might one day reappear, was finally extinguished. In its place, however, came the somber clarity of a plausible explanation. Asha had not abandoned her life. She had, in all likelihood, met an unforeseen end within the park's hidden infrastructure. This knowledge, while devastating, offered a form of closure, shifting the burden of the unknown to the concrete, even if the details of her final moments remained elusive. The case of Asha Nakamura, student vanished in Central Park, stands as a chilling testament to the unseen vulnerabilities lurking within the heart of urban landscapes. It underscored the fragile intersection of human intention, transient street art, and the often forgotten infrastructure that underpins a vast metropolis. The waterlogged sketchbook, a silent witness pressed beneath a bench, eventually spoke, its faint graphite transfers revealing a story that meticulous investigation and the specialized knowledge of a graffiti archivist finally deciphered. It demonstrated that even in the most public of spaces, secrets can lie buried for years, awaiting an improbable discovery to bring them to light, offering a powerful, if somber, legacy to the tireless pursuit of truth.